the ability to how long do you think it would take for Trent, for example? He connects with, Fred in this situation, says, Fred, hey, I don't know much about this industry, but I want to help and I want to learn. What can I do for you? Well, I just saw something the other day. Alex Hormozy posted a video saying, if you want to get in contact with somebody who's, high value or, that type of shit, don't ask them what you can do for them, because that's putting homework on them. You do the brain power of figuring out what value you can provide to them.
Yeah. So the value that this person provides, it says, hey, I have a house. I've already got this person's phone number, and the software where you would find that person's phone number is Batch Leads. Okay. You go to batchleads.io/Jamil. You can skip trace there. So you put the address in, it'll shoot out a phone number.
What is skip tracing?
That's like what detectives and credit card companies and creditors and collection agencies use to track people down who don't pay their bills.
Okay. So just getting info. And how much is batchleads.io/Jamil?
I think it's like 10 cents or 15 cents for a phone number, per record or whatever.
So if you're a beginner, you don't need to drop in and spend $100 to start. You can just spend
you get like
$10.
You can spend $10. Like if you went out for a day and like say you collected a list of 50 houses.
Okay.
50 ugly houses. I'm sure if you ran around all day long, you could get more than that. But let's just say you got a list of 50 houses and you went home, sat down, and you inputted each one of those addresses and you got all those people's phone numbers. Some of them are going to be right. Some of the numbers are going to be wrong. But let's just say 40% of the numbers are right. Okay. So now you've got 20 out of the 50 that want to actually talk to you. Yeah. Right. So those 20 people that will not want to talk to you, but you have a correct phone number for, two out of the 20 might say, yeah, I'm interested. What do you got? Okay. Or, what would you offer?
Yeah.
And then
what's my line when I'm calling those two people?
It's like, hey,
when I'm calling any of them.
Hey, I'm a real estate investor. I was just riding by your house, or whatever you want to say. I'm a real estate investor. I was passing by your house and I saw that your house looks like it could use a little love. Not trying to be rude or anything, but what's your plan with that house? Do you live there? Are you fixing it up? Do you have any plans? Are you open to a cash offer? Because that's what I do. I buy houses in conditions that require some maintenance, and I would be happy to help you out.
What do you think would happen? Because that's a big piece that I think a lot of beginners have, is when do you start calling yourself a real estate investor? And
I think the moment that you start actually putting time into this, you can call yourself a real estate investor. I think the fact is a lot of people think that investing means putting in money, but an investment is time.
Yeah, true.
It's not just money, right? Yep. Like it's time. And if you don't, and that's one of the most biggest misconceptions for people is that they get so scared to call themselves an investor, and they'll have spent 100 hours or more learning about this and working at this. And then they still feel like, imposters calling themselves investors. And I feel like, well, what do you value your time at?
Yeah.
Right. Cause if I had you come and work for me for 40 hours, okay, it's a week of work.
Yeah.
Would you do it for free?
Yeah, no, your time is worth something. So
you wouldn't, right? You charge at bare minimum, you're going to charge me $20 an hour.
Yeah.
Right. So why wouldn't you invest in that in yourself? And if you've invested that time into yourself, then are you not a real estate investor?
Yeah, you are, huh? I get hung up on it. And even in the hypothetical situation, I'm like, how could I do it without saying the words, I'm a real estate investor? I would say my line would be like, hey, I want to get into real estate investing, but then I think that might turn them off because they're like, oh, this guy doesn't know shit.
Well, they may think you're not serious, but at the same time, I also love just straight up being transparent.
Yeah.
So that's my reasoning on why I think people can call themselves an investor, right. But you don't have to. You can say, hey, I work with some investors that want to buy houses like this. Are you interested in a cash offer?
Okay.
That's it.
So this is all the part where you're like Trent, you're going to do this without reaching out for help. And once you get a conversation with either a seller or an agent, let's not complicate it. Just get talking to a seller, meaning the owner of the house who is open to a cash offer. That's when you say to that seller, let me send me some, or what do you do to delay it so that you can go talk to Fred? Well,
so as soon as I hear that they said, yeah, I'd be open to an offer. Great. Have you done any renovations in the house lately? And just write down what they say and then say, fantastic. Give me about 30 minutes. I'm going to go talk with the people that I work with and I'll call you back with a number.
I'm curious because I've heard, it's a turn off to hear somebody say, I'm going to go talk to my partner. or I'm going to go, but I like that. I'm going to go talk to the people that I work with, and then I'll come back and I'll have an offer for you. And then they'll say, great, cool. And then that's when you reach out to Fred Gamble of Keyglee, and you say, hi, my name's Trent. I have a potential deal. And what do you say to Fred?
Just say, hey, Fred, here's an address. Jamil told me to call you. I have an address for a house in Austin.
You name drop Jamil. That's how you do it. Okay.
And the homeowner is interested in a cash offer. Tell me what that number needs to be.
Okay. Yeah.
And then Fred will run the numbers and he'll say, offer them 500,000.
Right.
And then you call that person and say, okay, so I talked to my associates and they think that they could offer you 500,000.
Yeah. And dude, and I know that you coach people who do this virtually, so they're literally overseas and they're wholesaling.
Dude, I have a guy who's in like Johannesburg that's made hundreds of thousands of dollars. I got like dozens of people in Israel that are calling America during our business hours, making hundreds of thousands of dollars. People in Canada calling America, making hundreds of thousands of dollars. So this isn't something that you have to be local in the city that you're calling.
Right.
You might live in the sticks somewhere where real estate investment really isn't something that's going on. Like say you live in, a rural part of America and there's like one house every 10 minutes.
That's not a place
that real estate investors are going to buy.
Yeah. You've reached the end of the video. Hopefully you enjoyed that clip. If you want to support me and the podcast, just subscribe and share the show with your friends. The full episode is in the description, so if you haven't, go check that out. It's also available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and wherever you listen to podcasts. And the goal is just to grow. So if you could share the show with your BMX homies, that'd be dope. Anybody that you know that is a BMX nerd and would enjoy this podcast, do me that favor, and we'll keep all these clips coming and one episode every week. So I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.